How to fix mount and Blade Roman 2. Bannerlord stuck on loading screen. Welcome back to Teknobalta. During our recent diagnostics on mount and Blade Roman 2 Bannerlord, our technical team encountered a severe issue where the game gets indefinitely stuck on the initial loading screen or when starting a new campaign. Teknobalta's analysis revealed that this problem is often tied to mod conflicts, shader cache corruption, or memory allocation failures during the initialization phase. We have thoroughly tested every variable and compiled the ultimate diagnostic guide to bypass this freeze. By following our verified solutions, you will restore your game's stability and get back to conquering Calradia. Let us dive into the technical fixes. Our testing showed that outdated foundational mods are the primary culprits for infinite loading screens. You must ensure that Harmony, ButterLib, UIExtenderEx, and mod configuration menu are updated to their absolute latest versions matching your game build. Teknobalta highly recommends manually downloading these directly rather than relying on outdated workshop versions to guarantee maximum compatibility. After updating the dependencies, we confirmed that a strict mod load order is mandatory for the game engine to initialize properly. Your launcher must prioritize Harmony first, followed by ButterLib, UIExtenderEx, and finally the mod configuration menu before any native game modules. Placing any of these below the native sandbox or custom battle modules will immediately crash the loading sequence. During our investigation, Windows Defender was quietly blocking the execution of custom mod DLL files, halting the loading bar entirely. You need to navigate to your game's modules folder, right-click on every downloaded mod folder, select Properties, and check the Unblock box at the bottom. Alternatively, executing a recursive unblock command in PowerShell instantly clears this security restriction across all files. Teknobalta discovered that corrupted shader caches, built up from previous game versions, cause severe hangups before the main menu. Press the Windows key and R, type ProgramData, and locate the Mount and Blade Roman 2 Bannerlord folder. Delete the entire shaders directory to force the engine to recompile these assets cleanly upon the next launch. Similarly, outdated configuration XML files lingering in your user directory will conflict with new updates and stop the loading process. Navigate to your Documents folder, find the Bannerlord directory, and completely delete the configs folder. The game will generate fresh, error-free configuration files the next time you boot it up. We always verify the baseline integrity of the game files before proceeding to deeper system tweaks. Open your Steam library, right-click Bannerlord, navigate to Installed Files, and select Verify Integrity of Game Files. This process replaces any missing native engine files that might be causing the loading screen loop. Bannerlord is notoriously memory-heavy during the initial asset loading phase, often maxing out physical RAM and crashing silently. Teknobalta recommends expanding your Windows Virtual Memory by navigating to Advanced System Settings and increasing the pagefile size. Set the initial and maximum size to at least 16 gigabytes to give the game enough overhead to load large battle maps. Windows 10 and 11 apply a feature called full screen optimizations that interferes with the game's rendering pipeline. Locate the Bannerlord executable in your Steam Apps Common folder, right-click to access Properties, and navigate to the Compatibility tab. Check the box to disable full screen optimizations to ensure the graphics API has direct control over your display. We noticed that a lack of read and write permissions in the installation directory prevents the game from loading necessary save states. In that same Compatibility tab, check the option to run this program as an administrator. This grants the engine the necessary elevated permissions to bypass background security halts. Our diagnostics revealed a bizarre interaction where Microsoft OneDrive attempts to sync the Documents folder while Bannerlord is reading from it. This file lock causes the game to freeze on the loading screen indefinitely. You must pause one drive syncing or completely exclude the Bannerlord documents folder from your cloud backup settings. Sometimes, the developer releases a hotfix that instantly breaks every major modification you have installed. If your loading screen freezes immediately after a minor patch, navigate to the Betas tab in Steam Properties. Select the previous stable version from the drop-down menu to match your current mod list architecture. Software overlays from Steam, Discord, or external recording applications inject their own code into the game engine, often stalling the loading sequence. We strongly advise going into the settings of these respective applications and turning off the in-game overlay specifically for Bannerlord. This frees up processing power and removes background interference. Outdated GPU drivers fail to compile the game's DirectX shaders efficiently, leading to a permanent loading screen lock. Teknobalta advises downloading display driver uninstaller to completely wipe your current graphics drivers. Afterward, install the latest driver package directly from the manufacturer's website for optimal initialization performance. If you are relying heavily on Steam Workshop mods, a corrupted download cache will feed broken files directly into your game client. Open your Steam settings, navigate to the Downloads tab, and click Clear Download Cache. This forces Steam to restart and redownload any fragmented workshop items from scratch. Translation mods, or custom language packs, frequently break when the base game updates its user interface strings. Disable all localization modules in the launcher and attempt to boot the game in pure English. If the game loads successfully, you must wait for the translation author to update their specific XML files. Windows Security features a controlled folder access setting that aggressively blocks unknown applications from modifying configuration files. Teknobalta found that adding the Bannerlord executable as an allowed app in your ransomware protection settings resolves silent loading failures. This ensures the game can freely access its own configuration scripts during startup. During our hardware monitoring, we noticed GPU usage spiking to 100% during the loading screen, causing a hard system hang. Open your graphics control panel and set a background frame rate limit of 60 frames per second. This thermal regulation prevents the graphics card from choking before the main menu even appears. The game sometimes struggles to initialize its default DirectX implementation, depending on your specific hardware configuration. You can open the engine configuration text file in your Documents folder and manually change the display mode to ensure compatibility. This legacy rendering adjustment provides far more stability on older operating systems. We discovered that a single corrupted autosave file in your directory can freeze the entire main menu initialization. Navigate to the Game Saves folder within your documents and temporarily move all save files to your desktop. If the game boots perfectly without them, you will need to isolate and delete the specific broken save file. If all other targeted diagnostics fail, you must perform a completely sanitized reinstallation. Uninstall the game, manually delete the Bannerlord folders in both ProgramData and Documents, and wipe the remaining installation directory. Reinstalling the game on a fast solid-state drive will guarantee a flawless, factory-clean loading experience. Don't forget to follow Teknobalta for more.